as the planes continue to wow the crowds in Lowestoft. 200 miles south, on the Southampton, they're also on the lookout for bombers. This is the busiest waterway in Europe, home to heavy industry, the largest cruise ship terminal in the country, and nearly half the UK's pleasure craft. It all adds up to billions of pounds and is a prime target for 21st century terrorists. Sergeant Andy Simpson is the head of Southampton's Specialist Police Marine Unit, a coastline cop who's been protecting these shores for a decade. His beat is the sea, and this year he has a new toy.
Name is Mariner 5, twin 200 horsepower engines on the back. It's quite a mean beast. Top speed is in excess of 50 knots. This is the vessel that we'll use if we're doing any boarding operations. This thing can go alongside most vessels, and we can safely put either just one officer or a whole team of officers on these target vessels.
Simpson and his team aren't going after target vessels today. They're recruiting, signing up local sailors to become unofficial civilian coastline cops. Codenamed Operation Kraken, it involves using the unit's new tool to attract fellow boat enthusiasts.
What we're doing is we're promoting a thing called Project Kraken. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's basically a counter-terrorist stroke serious crime initiative. Right. It's a bit like Neighbourhood Watch on the water.
Oh, okay.
A small piece of the intelligence jigsaw leads to the bigger pieces, which leads to the arrest and the prevention. Things like ESSO and that, I mean, look at the targets there. They're massive, high-profile targets. It's not always terrorism. It could be people smuggling, drug smuggling, little things like if you were in the marina sorting your boat out after a long day, and about 10, 11 o'clock at night, a small yacht came in, but if there's 6 blokes in suits with suitcases get off, you're going to think, hey, that's weird. Little things like that, you find out, say, this ain't right.
There are a lot of iconic cruise ships that come in here. There's a lot of crowded places. There's a lot of ferries. There's the oil refineries. There's the container traffic. There's an awful lot of damage that could be done, so we have to be vigilant.
Operation Kraken isn't the only anti-terrorism mission on the go today.
That's the computer we need.
PC Kerry Murray is a former police surveillance officer whose love of boats earned her a transfer to Hampshire's coastline cops.
I've walked the beat. I've been trained in pursuit and response for driving. I've done surveillance. Okay. I've worked all over the country. And then as my career progressed, you're looking for things to rejuvenate your interest. So about 6 years ago, I was looking forward and thinking, what do I want to do next? And I saw that the Marine Unit had opportunities. I think it's a job that you've got to do because you're interested in the marine environment. So to couple that with policing was a bit of a bonus.
What's more of a bonus for PC Murray is the great ships of the line that use Southampton. It's always been at the heart of the cruising business, the port of choice for the great names of the seas.
We've got the Queen Mary in today, an iconic cruise ship we would consider her. Obviously, cruising's a huge industry now, but if you talk to anybody about cruising, then probably the Queen Mary, following on from the Queen Elizabeth, is going to be the one that they talk about. Beautiful ship, and therefore, sadly, a bit of a target.
Guys, we're going to try and go ahead of her on the wall, if we can, so just watch the roof clearance.
PC Murray and her unit won't be searching the inside of the Queen Mary. They're going to look at her bottom. They'll be using the latest weapon in their surveillance and anti-terrorist armoury.
Well, we're going to start by finding the actual nose of the boat.
A mini submarine with its own video camera.
It's not an easy thing to fly. Like I say, if we had a little chart that said exactly where it was in relation to everything else, then it would be a lot easier. But sadly not. So once you're down there, you've really got to try and do it by feel and relate what you can see to where she might be.
PC Murray is looking for signs that people may have tampered with the ship's hull.
Right. Oh, she doesn't look so clean as she could be, does she? That's the side of Queen Mary. Side the public doesn't often get to see.
Almost 4,000 people will be on board the Queen Mary, so they can't afford to miss anything. As they press on with their mission, on the south coast, PC Murray's mini sub is working a treat. She hasn't found anything out of order on the Queen Mary's bottom yet. But that's not for want of trying.
We are familiar with what she should look like and how the hulls are generally configured. As you can see from her hull, she's got a bit of growth on it, so if something was recently added to it, then there would be evidence of algae and things like that having been moved, barnacles cleared. Well, fortunately we've discovered that there is nothing untoward with her. She's got a quite clean bottom, so the owners will be happy about that, and she all looks fine. So that's good news.
The Queen Mary is just one of 5 cruise ships that will set sail from Southampton today. Once PC Murray has given them the once-over, they belong to Sergeant Simpson, who will make sure they get away safely.
We frequently will escort the cruise ships from the port. Our main role is doing it from a security point of view, just making sure everything's okay, there's nobody out there that's going to do anything silly.
Doing something silly applies to the liners too. In places, the Solent is less than a metre deep. Last year the QE2 ran aground here, and Sergeant Simpson is anxious that none of his charges do the same.
This is a chart of the central Solent and Southampton water. We're currently sort of about here, and what you've got is from the entrance or the exit from Southampton water, straight line from Southampton to Cowes, you've got the Bramble Bank in the middle, and that's a favourite parking spot for yachts who don't realise it's there. It's not deep enough for them to go straight out that way, so they have to make a big turn here, go around the Brambles Bank, which is this part here, and then when they get to here, they take a 140-degree turn to port and head off down the eastern Solent.
The first one out is the Arcadia. She can carry 2,900 passengers and crew.
She's done the hard bit, she's got out without too much traffic being around, so she'll just be a matter now of getting her out of the Solent. It'll be a busy old day for her.
It's going to be a busy old day for the Coastline Cubs too. Sergeant Simpson's noticed that some of the local water sports enthusiasts are buzzing the liners.
There was one route that I noticed that managed to go between the harbour master's boat and the ship. After the harbour master had gone past, he snuck in behind him. I did see the harbour master spun round, presumably to start shouting at him, and I didn't actually see the result of that, because the ship blocked my view. But apart from that, no problem at all really.